Law 33. Discover each man's thumbscrew is about exploiting the vulnerabilities, weaknesses, and emotional triggers of those around you to gain leverage and control. Everyone, no matter how strong or confident they appear, has a hidden pressure point, a thumbscrew, that, when pressed, reveals their insecurities, fears, desires, or compulsions. The essence of this law is to find those points in people and use them strategically to manipulate their behavior and decisions. In the pursuit of power, knowing someone's deepest vulnerabilities gives you an unmatched advantage. At the heart of this law is the understanding that human beings are complex and layered. No one is entirely invulnerable. Even the most formidable individuals have weak spots. Whether it's their pride, need for validation, ambition, jealousy, or fear of losing control. Identifying these vulnerabilities allows you to exert influence over them without their full awareness. It is a subtle but potent way of guiding their actions while they believe they are acting of their own accord. To discover a person's thumbscrew, you must first become a master of observation. This isn't just about watching their actions, but about listening carefully to what they say and, even more importantly, to what they don't say. What do they react to emotionally? What makes them uncomfortable? Do they avoid certain topics or people? These subtle cues are windows into their deeper psyche. Emotional reactions are often indicators of hidden fears or unresolved issues, and if you pay attention to them, they reveal the points where the person is most fragile. Many people unknowingly broadcast their weaknesses through their behaviors, insecurities, or need for approval. For example, someone with an overinflated ego may have a deep fear of public humiliation or failure, making their need for respect a critical vulnerability. On the other hand, someone who appears overly modest or self-deprecating might crave recognition or validation, and can be influenced by offering them praise or acknowledgement. By catering to or subtly manipulating these desires, you can lead people in the direction you want without force or direct confrontation. Another way to discover someone's thumbscrew is by paying close attention to their relationships and social dynamics. People are often more vulnerable when it comes to their connections with others. Some may fear losing the favor of an influential friend or superior, while others may be insecure about their social standing or reputation. This law teaches that once you know who or what a person is emotionally invested in, you can use it to your advantage. You can either play on their fears, threatening their social position or security, or offer them something that feeds their desires, drawing them closer to you. Fear is one of the most potent thumbscrews. Many people are motivated by fear, whether it's the fear of failure, rejection, loneliness, or losing power. Fear can cloud judgment, making people vulnerable to manipulation. Once you identify what someone is afraid of, you can use that fear as leverage, applying pressure when necessary to control their decisions. However, this must be done with precision. Applying too much pressure risks pushing them into a defensive posture, while a more subtle approach can make them willingly bend to you without a concern for avoiding the thing they fear most. But fear is not the only vulnerability. Desires and ambitions can be just as effective in controlling others. Someone driven by greed, lust, or ambition will often overlook red flags or act irrationally to fulfill their desires. In these cases, you can dangle what they want in front of them, using it as bait to lead them into your trap. People blinded by desire are often willing to make concessions they wouldn't otherwise make, and they are less likely to question your motives if they believe you are helping them achieve their goals. The more you can align yourself with what they want, the more control you can exert over them. One of the most subtle yet effective thumbscrews is guilt. Many people have unresolved feelings of guilt about their past actions or behaviors. By understanding what they regret or feel guilty about, you can manipulate them by positioning yourself as someone who can help them redeem themselves or make amends. Guilt is a powerful motivator because it operates on a deep emotional level, often overriding logic or self-interest. When people feel the need to atone, they become pliable, willing to go to great lengths to clear their conscience or restore their reputation. People's emotional triggers often overlap, making them more vulnerable than they might seem on the surface. For instance, a person may be driven by a combination of fear and desire. Fear of being left behind and desire for recognition. In these cases, you can use a multi-pronged approach, playing on both their insecurities and their ambitions. The more intricately you understand the dynamics of their inner world, the more effectively you can press their thumbscrews, applying just the right amount of pressure to keep them under your control without breaking them entirely. It's important to emphasize that the use of this law must be done with great care. If people realize that you are actively exploiting their weaknesses, they may turn on you or resist in ways that could backfire. Subtlety is key. You must never make it obvious that you are aware of their vulnerabilities or that you are using them against them. The goal is to make them feel like they are in control, while you are quietly pulling the strings in the background. The moment they feel exposed or manipulated, they may retaliate or withdraw from you entirely. This law is also about understanding the consequences of revealing vulnerabilities. Just as you seek to discover and use others' thumbscrews, you must protect your own. Never reveal too much about your own weaknesses, as they can and will be used against you by others who understand this law. The more opaque you are about your personal fears, desires, and insecurities, the harder it will be for others to find and exploit your weaknesses. To master Law 33, discover each man's thumbscrew, is to become a strategic observer of human behavior. It requires patience, emotional intelligence, and a deep understanding of psychology. Once you can consistently identify the pressure points of others and use them to your advantage, you will find yourself in a position of subtle, yet significant power. This is not about overt dominance, but about the quiet manipulation of people's inner worlds to achieve your objectives. By pressing the right thumbscrews, you can guide people's actions without force, making them do what you want while believing they are acting of their own volition.